Ready. Hi, everybody, and welcome back to the Mystery Sports Podcast, part 2 of the Andy video. And this is the New Year special. So I hope you guys enjoy. If you've not already, please like and subscribe to the channel. And yeah, we'll crack on with the video. So, where we left off last time in the Christmas special, definitely check that out. It's in the link in the description below. We were talking about how like Arsenal and the way that they've been since Arteta's been 6 years on the weekend, wasn't it, against Everton? So obviously we'll go on to like the Premier League and what your opinions are and my thoughts on what we've seen so far. So, if we look at the league table, obviously Arsenal sat top, City second, and I think Villa have now come into that kind of title race, I would say.
Definitely.
And you can see that there's a top three, there's a mid-table battle for the Champions League, and then there's your relegation battle. So, what would you make your thoughts on City and Arsenal, Villa?
Well, definitely now Villa, I think we were saying previously, would run out of form, but I think they've shown to kind of keep themselves in there. Do I think they'll be there at the top? No, I don't think they'll win it, but I definitely think that they're going to be in that top four now. Great result they've got, and you've got to think if you look at the runs they've had as well, they've beaten some top teams.
Yeah, exactly.
And again, for a team that I didn't really rate, a team that I thought would probably be in the top 10, just kind of below it, above it, kind of position, like where your Palace now, Brighton, Everton. It just shows, I think, though, in all due respect, and it's not tongue in cheek to us, that having a good manager. Emery, he's obviously knows what he's doing. Definitely. He's at the right team to do well. But again, if you look at the table now, it is tight. The game against Everton definitely was a big victory, though. I know it looked scrappy, but we were away. Funny enough, you said that 6 years today Arteta took over, and they actually faced Everton that day with Carlo Ancelotti on the other side, and I think at the time it was like, should it be the other way around? Time will only tell if that works out. That might sound a bit silly being Carlo Ancelotti, but time will only tell. But it was a big result to get that, especially with City winning. I think when them teams play before you, and they get the points in, because I would look at the table,
puts a bit more pressure on you.
Because I generally forgot when I looked at the table, I was like, oh, City are above us now, and you could easily just crumble. But got the result. Not an easy place to go. Kept a clean sheet, which was what our strength will be.
I think for Arsenal, in terms of the way you guys win the league, is when you get Gabriel and Saliba. Well, you've got Saliba back, and Gabriel, I think, is out for another 2 weeks. You get them two in, and you just come into that rock solid side, keeping clean sheets every week. Like, look what happened before them two got injured. Like, you was on the patch that City and Villa are on, but you've not got them. You've lost, and you drew a game. So it's like when you've got them two players back, and I think you will stay ahead of them. I just think, Arteta looked quite worried on the sideline, and I think that's maybe because history might repeat itself. But I think, like we mentioned in the previous video, you've got squad depth there, and I think your players like your Gyökeres, your Zubimendes, your Madueke, Saka, obviously, and Odegaard will keep you in the league.
I think you've got to think of it this way as well. Is in previous years it has fallen apart. We have lost against Villa. We've come back and won, if I'm right, 2 on the bounce. And we've dropped some points here with City and Villa have won 5 on the bounce there, and yet we're still
they've won 10 on the bounce.
Oh, have they? Sorry, I was looking at the thing. But what I'm saying is, if you look at it though, we're still top from that. And it's how you maintain it. We lost pretty much all our defence at one point, and that squad depth comes through. You can question that the attacking isn't just there yet. Gyökeres up front. Massive penalty for him. I know he's only, was it 5 in the season? I think someone said he's 5 league goals, which will look poor. But again, it's like we've previously said about it's how you interplay the other players in. And we are getting players come in. And if you watched against Everton as an example, I had to watch the highlights, not the full game. We could have scored more.
100%. I did watch the game fully, and I thought you probably should have scored at least 3.
Well, I think Trossard hits the bar, if I'm right.
And there was a chance where I think Trossard literally takes it off Saka's feet, and I'm like, why are you doing that? Just let him shoot.
But you can look at that in 2 ways. You can look at it and go, they creating chances. The other one you can look at is go, they're not scoring chances. But they still won. I being an Arsenal fan for so long, the kind of the mixtape we used to get of, we would normally draw that game, and lose it. But to come out with a clean sheet, a victory, scored quite early on. I mean, debatable. Someone here might be an Everton fan. Matt Jones said they had a penalty. I don't know.
But it was a blatant pen. You pretty much just caught the ball with 2 hands.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, when Saliba.
I'm arguing that when I was watching
it over and over again, and I thought, if you're going to clear a ball and catch someone,
Yeah.
he hasn't gone out and kicked him. He's gone to kick the ball and he's caught him. If you give him penalties for that, I mean, would you give it a free kick? That's how I'd look at it. Was that a free kick or they played on? Just it's in the box. But
I think it was like one of the games, the Newcastle game versus Chelsea. Gordon's through, and I don't know who it is. I think it's Chadaba who just absolutely wipes him out. And Eddie Howe said after the game, "Oh, if that's not in the penalty box, it's a free kick."
Yeah.
And he's 100% right, and I think it is a penalty because it's a foul no matter what, because he's not intended to play the ball. And I think Gordon would get the ball and obviously create a chance, so it's got to be a penalty. But I think that's how refs need to look at it. If it wasn't in the penalty box, would you give a free kick? Yeah. Penalty then.
Fully agree.
And if we just look on obviously the top 4 race, so you obviously United are in there, Sunderland, Liverpool, Chelsea. What do we think of that? Like, what do we make of that? Do you think that's cemented now, or do you think the likes of Palaces and Brightons will come into it, or Newcastle?
It's just funny how quick things change, isn't it? If you look already there, Palace are in 8th, Liverpool gone to 5th.
Yeah,
look like they pick up a little bit of form there. If you look at the previous 5 results there isn't a loss there. And it just shows you how things can change. I think the most unpredictable team in that is Chelsea.
Yeah,
I think in that kind
I'd go United at this moment in time.
Well, yeah, I agree with you on that. But I just think Chelsea is just that mad side where you can literally, they will one day beat City, and then they'll probably give Wolves the first win.
Yeah,
it's just. I know, and people love that about football, but that's why it's hard to predict that. I think United are bizarre. I thought United were coming back, and there's no disrespect to losing to Villa. I get that, but I just feel they've always got that. Again, they're another one who could just lose a game.
Yeah,
out of nowhere, no consistency. Sunderland, again, amazing what they're doing.
I think they'll come off it a little bit.
I generally think they'll be down where Brighton, Everton are that 9th, 10th. Palace again, they've kind of come off the boil a little bit, but is that expected? I think it is probably a team there.
I think in terms of like the top 4 race, I think we will see United in there. I think Liverpool, Chelsea are definitely in there already. I'd agree with Sunderland as well and Palace, where they might just like put the boiler might just go off. And I think what Palace are doing now, it's what I've expected of them being in obviously the Conference League and having so many games and stuff. And I think Glasner said it in his press conferences about squad depth and stuff, and I think that is showing now because they were fourth last week, and then to be obviously 8th now, it's a bit of and 2 losses on the bounce as well.
I mean, with all due respect, they're just playing well in form, and I mean, if you look at the actual plays they've got play by play, there are some good ones, obviously.
Yeah.
But if you're relying on like Nketiah, there's no disrespect to Nketiah when he was there, but he's never going to get you 20 odd goals a season. He's not that kind of player. I'd say.
If he was, you probably would have kept him.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other lad up front, can't remember Mateta. Yeah, I should know him from football.
Yeah,
he's one of them who can hit a load of form. He's going to go. Obviously,
he missed so many chances.
I know.
It's unbelievable.
And there's a question about someone like Gabe. Obviously, is he going to stay? But there are some good players at Palace. But I just think the thing here as well is, I mean, I don't think anyone's going to go and sign big in winter.
I think the only person who will be big is Semenyo.
Yeah,
which is a bit
the only one.
I think if we just move on from like mid-table / relegation, this Bournemouth 14th and Tottenham 13th. This is a massive one. It's
crazy, isn't it? Around that kind of there. I mean, around that area there, you got Newcastle there.
Yeah.
Brentford. I mean, come back to how well they've done. Really.
Yeah, Brentford have done really well.
Bournemouth now again at one point were 4th.
Yeah.
They've fallen down to 14th again. Given
look at their form though.
I know.
Losses and
given what happened to Bournemouth though, but if you look at and no one's going to be depressed at this, but Spurs, languishing worthy, and again, but where do you see the wins coming from?
Honestly, the next game is Palace. I'd see Palace winning that. I don't see them winning many games at all.
I fully agree with you. I don't really know what Spurs have got, and this is not just being a biased Arsenal fan. Is when I saw them against Liverpool. And Liverpool have been great.
Yeah.
And there was a time to try and get a point.
Yeah.
And they couldn't do that. They fell apart. Someone gets sent off.
I think the Spurs are going to be their own downfall, if you know what I mean? Because, Richarlison, don't get me wrong, is a good player, and every time it's a World Cup, he has an unbelievable season.
Yeah, he does.
But I don't think... But is it easy that guy like Nketiah who's going to get 20 goals a season? No. I think Kudus is the only bright spark for them. They need Maddison back ASAP. Van der Ven, he's doing bits for him. But you've got like the Romero, the captain, who's getting himself sent off for a stupid thing. You're like, why are you kicking him? Like, just get on with it. You've got a free kick in a dangerous position.
I think when you look at Tottenham as well, and this is again might be a bit biased, but there always seems to be one player who does really well, who stands out, and then the
like
rest,
Kane and Son.
Yeah, Kane, Maddison had a bit of a run, and we're saying like Kudus being the bright spot, but no one else seems to gel. Yeah. I mean, the centre back you were talking about then, the one everyone, yeah, is he ready for his centre back skills? I mean, I know he's always talked about how rapid he is.
I think
like that.
For Van der Ven, it's more about his burst forwards. That's the thing.
And I've really never rated the goalkeeper.
No,
I think he's one of them. He's a great shot stopper, but then I'm going to sound like Roy Keane here. Shouldn't they all be great shot stoppers? Yeah. You know, he doesn't give me any confidence when you look at him. He's quite small.
I think it's a bit like Ramsdale.
Yeah.
He doesn't. You know, having shots, I feel like he'd save him. But when you want to play out from the back and how Thomas Frank likes to play, I don't think he's that keeper.
He kind of looks like, it reminds me of a very early De Gea. Yeah. It's very small, very scared, a bit like if a ball coming into the corner, he's going to panic a bit, and there's no confidence. And then they brought the other lad in last winter.
Keeper.
He's going to be K, I think. But he's never looked confident. Well, Fraser Foster was
is it Fraser Foster? Because
he was there before, but they brought someone else in. He had a good game, and then I think he fell apart. If I remember, I think he's one of them who's conceded from a corner, like a few goalkeepers have these days.
Yeah.
But again, if you look at that table, though, it does look really tight around that area. So the fact Palace have dropped that far already, or whatever, or Bournemouth down there and Tottenham.
Yeah. But Tottenham being where they are is, I just don't. Where can you sign the players? It's gone. Here we go.
Yeah. You know what I mean when you see him. Yeah, I thought it was Keane. Yeah. Again, they signed him, and I mean, if you look at the play-by-play, there are some good players. I mean, Paulinho, he's a great player from Bayern Munich. I'm surprised Bayern let him go, but it is what it is. Simmons, but
should be good.
I know, but
but it's like the words thing though. With him, like, is he just adapting because of the Premier League to Bundesliga? Should he be a good player?
He was a great player. Kulereski, he had a bit of form. But they just never all seem to click together.
Well, Kulereski's injured, isn't he? So he's probably their best player when he's there.
But ones that they just never seem to click together, do they?
But they've got no kind of like. You look at those defenders, right?
Yeah.
Like Dragsken or whatever. He's not that good. I don't know who he is. Undogi's inconsistent. He just gets himself yellow carded or sent off.
He had a bit of a run, didn't he? Porro,
he's okay, but defensively he's poor.
Spence is being called up for the England squad, but I think that's down to not having anyone really available.
But then at the same time, I think Spence is actually doing quite well for him. Like he actually is trying for him. Ben Davies, bloody hell, I've not seen him in a while.
Oh, he's been getting a bit old now, Ben Davies. But I mean, if you then go to the strikers, Slanky, never going to get you 30 goal season. Tell is obviously a really good talent, but he's got to hit the ground running at some point. Brennan Johnson, again, he's all right.
It's a tough one though, isn't it? Because apparently they want to sell him.
Yeah, well, I don't know where he goes. Sometimes he goes wide. Yeah, well, I suppose he does. I mean, it is a strange team. It's not. You don't look at that and think.
Like I would never have thought Kolo Malawi would be at Spurs after like hitting the heights in the World Cup and stuff. I was I would never. I thought he'd be at PSG for the rest of his life.
I actually forgot he was there until you said that.
Yeah,
and I think the problem being again is they've gone from a complete change as well. You've gone from Ange, who's won for how he plays, to Thomas Frank, who he's been the underdog at Brentford, done really well. He's going to play that. It kind of reminds me when Moyes went to United.
Yeah.
And they try and be that underdog, and it's like, but they are better than, technically on paper, they are bigger than bar five other sides.
Yeah.
So you can't then, I don't know. I think the fans will turn them in a bit. I do think, and if they haven't already, it'll be coming because they can't be down there again. That actually reminds me when I first started watching Tottenham and they used to be around there.
Yeah.
When Glenn Hoddle was in charge. And things like that. So
you just look at though, like the form that they're in and the other teams around them. So you've got, it's only 1 win in 5, and
I know
4 points in 5, which is ridiculous for them. And the teams around them, like Bournemouth, I reckon they'll pick up. Fulham are picking it up. Leeds, they're doing well. Look at that little form they've got there. Forest and West Ham, they should be getting it up. And obviously, I think then the bottom two, if we go into relegation, Wolves are definitely down. Burnley, I probably would say they're not down yet. They're giving it a fight, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Would you go to say that Wolves will be the worst team we've seen?
Yeah, easily.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because where
are the points coming from?
Well, look, I remember when Gabriel Bongo went through it, and he said about 11 points by the end, which would have been on par with Derby.
I think one below in it, or is it the same?
I think it'd be the same one. I think they got 11 in the end, not 10. But the point, what I didn't get with Wolves is, and I have to with Derby, you knew it would come in.
Yeah.
And I mean, obviously, I don't think maybe watching it, but when I was watching it, you knew it was coming. They went up too soon.
Yeah.
They bought shocking in the winter window, in particular.
Yeah.
You knew that was coming.
Yeah.
With Wolves, I didn't even see this collapse happening.
No,
they've been hanging around the bottom half, and I suppose you could say most of the time they probably stayed in there because the promotion teams went down straight away.
Yeah.
And obviously Southampton was shocking last year and things like that, and West Ham obviously they stayed up but were poor. But this collapse is mad. If you remember in 2017 when they came up, everyone was raving about them. But I suppose it's selling players.
They got Europa League as well.
Sure. Yeah, I remember. And but I suppose it comes down to selling players, not bringing the quality in, ever changing managers. Yeah. I mean, it's the fella from Middlesbrough who's at Luton now, isn't it?
Yeah,
Rob Edwards.
Rob Edwards, now he's.
And I mean, first place for Rob. I know he's going to be in the Premiership, but what's he going to do with that? I mean, the last time Wolves went down like this, and they went the worst season. They went down the season after as well to League One.
Yeah, no.
You can't. Luton did it.
Yeah.
You this could be a free fall. This.
Yeah.
Because if they, I mean, like you said, I agree. Where's that? I think they might be the first team not to win.
Win at all.
I might make that prediction now, and that might come out, and might haunt me. Bring it back for part 3 and say you were wrong.
Yeah.
But I generally think that could be a team that does not win. I mean, I did say a minute ago they could beat Chelsea, I suppose, but when you look at it, you think, look at it.
I don't. Yeah, Liverpool though. Like, I mean, I was just thinking after the match yesterday, United game. I was like, who do they win? Like, Liverpool next, United at Old. Well, both of them at Anfield and at Old Trafford. Yeah. Don't see them winning that. At home against West Ham, they could get a point, but I see West Ham
100%. West Ham might not beat many teams, but I think that'll be the one they'll get a win. Everton, decent side.
Newcastle.
Newcastle's time to pick up a bit.
I think Newcastle beat them.
I think they'll pick up. I mean, tongue in cheek about United, but I think they won't.
It's at Old Trafford. We battered them 4-1.
I know. I mean, if you look at the results they've had, I mean, all right, 2 on goals we beat them, but they still lost. They lost to Forest at home.
Yeah. It's just a dreadful team.
I like I said, the only team
City after that.
The only team I can see them beating is Chelsea because of their mad form.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you now, this is the one team where I generally think they could go without winning.
You know what? I do see. I can see where you're coming from because I can't see where they get. I can only see them getting draws, and I don't know where else they're meant to be getting wins from. It's just dreadful, really.
And then I agree with you on Burnley. I think Burnley one of them again.
They're in that kind of yo-yo side out there. Like 100%. They'll come up, they'll come down.
Yeah,
like, I think Leicester are in there.
Yeah, Norwich were like that for a bit. I know they're struggling now, but Norwich were like that a lot. And the problem with these kind of teams is like Burnley and that. It's who's going to invest in them
financially? I mean, don't get me wrong. They've got Dude Perfect. Like, you probably won't know who Dude Perfect are. It's a lot of my fans would know. They're like a trick shot people, like gang in the US.
You're right, yeah.
Like they're 50 million subs. It's mad, but like they invest in the club, and you're like, they've got no experience of running a football team, so they have no clue.
You've got to give Burnley some respect as well. Sorry, they went from the company thing where he plays a different style of football.
I think company could have done really well there.
Yeah, and then he came up and didn't change and got levered, and then Scott Parker's gone in and he's changed it and tightened them up a bit more to the Burnley we used to know.
Yeah,
and again, you've got to look at it and go, on paper they should be worth it. You can't lie to me and say Burnley would have done better than where they are.
No.
I assumed, if you looked at it, I thought Leeds had been the higher of the 3.
Yeah.
Just giving Leeds history and stuff. But I think Burnley, I think they'll get a few more points.
Yeah. Easy.
They're generally never going to be the worst Premiership team. We know that.
Yeah.
I think they'll get close to 20, but I think them two definitely cemented. I think it's that area around
18th point. So if we go on to our predictions, we'll start off with the relegated team. So I've gone Wolves as last. Burnley is 19th, and then I've gone Forest 17th.
We'll say a lot of Forest fans.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to upset any Forest fans, but I just think, though, there's a part of me that thinks, with everything that the owner does, and, don't get me wrong, I love Dyche and I love his football, but I just think that there'll be something that happens where he will fall out with the owner, he gets sacked, and then they bring in someone like a similar person to Ange, and they just lose.
The thing that will keep Dyche a little bit is that he has a bit of a history to the club. He has been played there. He's under the Brian Clough era. I'm not saying that keeps people. Stuart Pearce was manager once, and I didn't keep him. I think the problem with Forest is, and again, if I look at it, it is a mad team to be that high when they did well. It was like a kind of weird team that you put together of all these kind of not misfits, but misfiring players. I mean, Matt Sells was shocking at Newcastle.
Yeah,
and then he comes back and he on form. Chris Wood was bought by Newcastle to relegate Burnley.
Yeah.
You know, and then all of a sudden they click together. Colin Hudson-Odoi, I'm right, is he there? Kind of misfired
and
at Chelsea.
Alanga as well,
I
who's
know.
on farm and
And
stuff.
if you look at it, and then Gibson,
Morgan Gibbs White.
thank you. Yeah,
To be fair, he's a good player.
he
though,
is. But when you put them all together, it's a very strange team.
Yeah, and it just worked.
And should have been where they are now, I think.
Yeah.
They've overachieved massively. I mean, the fact they nearly got fourth last year is amazing.
Yeah.
It all fell apart when he came on the pitch.
Yeah, 100%. As soon as Mr. Marinakis came onto the pitch,
he had gambled on something that he basically assumed they were getting top four.
Yeah.
They fell apart, which was going to happen.
Yeah.
It fell apart probably later than I thought. I thought it'd been like a January, December thing.
Yeah,
bang.
It was quite late as well.
Yeah, it was, to be fair. And
that's probably why he's really pissed at
it. Kind of reminds me of the, like I said before, about the Leeds, Peter Risdale thing, when he gambled on Leeds being in the Champions League and they didn't, and they fell apart. The problem with Forest now is again, I'm not going to have them to go down like yourself, but they are dire. I mean, I'm going to have West Ham.
So you're going to have the same bottom three as...
Yeah, I just think, I mean, it's not a thing ever against West Ham. I've got no indifference to them, but I think they just let themselves down all the time. I think they do that whole thing of, we don't like the football, we'll get a guy who plays football, we don't like him, we'll get someone in who can keep us up, we don't like his football, and it's that ever-going cycle. But I remember last year when Graham Potter was there, he couldn't even get his bounce then.
Yeah.
And they struggled against Southampton. And they went into the window. I don't think they bought very well. I mean, Callum Wilson's, we said he's done all right, but 33-year-old trying to keep in the Premier League.
Exactly.
Kyle Walker-Peters, he's all right, but it's a full-back. Is that what your priority is? And then they spent 50 million on a goalkeeper where he obviously isn't good enough to do it. I mean, they've already had an all right keeper, I suppose, in Areola. But it just seems just a dire side.
Yeah.
And another thing with West Ham is I think if they went down, I don't see them coming straight back up. I might be wrong, but I think they struggle because they don't know who they are.
I think Bowen goes if they get relegated.
100%. Well, Bowen, what's his age now?
I think he's like 20 something.
He's got his late 20s, I'm sure.
20s,
He's got to look at this and go, right, my next move now is with my final big move.
How is he going to get into this England squad, if you know what I mean? Like,
well, this is it,
to be fair, I think if Bowen's looking at himself and being selfish, he has to move in January, and it needs to be to... You know what? I wouldn't be surprised we saw Jared at Tottenham. It's such a move that I feel like we could see.
Unfortunately, that was the one I was thinking of. But you can be surprising sometimes, and you think that, and then they do go to someone like a Brentford because they stay in the Premiership. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. It's strange. You would think, they get linked with everyone, and then all of a sudden they're in that kind of... There's that Everton. No respect to Everton, or Fulham, and you think, well, why are they there for?
I think it's a bit like Adama Traore, isn't it? Like he used to be linked. He's a really good player. He's at Barcelona. Then he was at Wolves, and then he goes to Fulham.
That's what I'm saying.
It's weird,
it's crazy. Yeah. I think Forest will stay up because I think Deitch is better at doing that. And there's not
I definitely can see that. I just think that what's happened in the past, I think Forest.
I think you're going to the fact that Deitch won't be there by the end of the season.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
fair enough. I like that.
And then we go to obviously the top four, and who wins the Premier League for you?
I'm going to put it out there and say Arsenal.
Yeah.
I just think if they don't win it, he will go. I think the fans will just turn completely toxic against him. They've been quite positive about him. I think there are some rumblings. I don't really watch a lot of AFTV. I have to be honest. I got a bit fed up with watching it.
They're just like gold. They're
like I think there was times where you watched it and you thought they were more buzzing. I know they say they're not, but I think they were. But I think the fans will turn on him, and I think he's had lots of money to spend now. He's got an amazing team. If you look at it on paper, there's very few people you'd say I'd bring them into it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think they've got, and it's got to be done. And I know he's had injuries and that, but that was the point of bringing this team in to get it all the line. So I think they'll do it. I think City maybe will probably chase that champion. I don't know. I mean, there's still rumours about City, isn't there?
Yeah.
With the fines, with Guardiola. I mean, there's talks of him going soon, and the lad from Chelsea going in. So might derail them, but they have to win it this year.
Yeah, I think, like you said, Arsenal have to win it, and I think they will win it. And then, obviously, second, third, and fourth, I'm going to go City.
Yeah.
You know, Villa have kind of shaken the pot, really, haven't they? Like, you know, and probably, I mean, I originally had United to finish third, which is mad. And, you know, I'm going to change this, and I'm going to go Villa third, considering what they're doing. And I don't see it ending yet.
Yeah.
I can definitely see in it after February them dropping off, and you know, when it gets closer to a third, fourth kind of battle. Yeah. And you know, I think that fifth place is, if you remember last year, it will get into a Champions League place because of how well English sides are doing.
Yeah.
You know, when you have Liverpool City winning against Real, you know, I think that kind of baton's been passed. The English sides are much better, so I think we'll get that fifth spot. But if we just keep it to traditional top four Champions League, I think Villa get it, and I think Chelsea get it.
Right, okay.
I think United finish.
So originally,
fifth.
I think I went with Chelsea and Liverpool. I think Villa now. Yeah. I think that win over United. I know people say United, and I think I've got to go back to the fact that
the thing is United played very well. Though,
no. Look, you can't come out of that and go, it's not the United that you usually see. They get ripped apart. You know what I mean? They were good. They were good. Well, just Villa. I just were better at that time. They're on form.
Yeah.
The manager knows what he wants. I get it. I got to stick with Chelsea.
Momentum, though, in it really. That's what they won in the game. Morgan Rogers.
Well, yeah. I just feel Chelsea are inconsistent, and I just think that team. And again, I'll go back to it. They'll probably beat City.
Yeah.
They'll probably stop City in a run, or they'll probably be the team to beat Sunderland.
Yeah.
And then lose to Wolves. I know I said Wolves. I know I keep going against this Wolves thing. Or lose to Burnley.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? That's the problem.
I know what you mean. And again, like the Leeds game, for example, isn't it?
It was a prime example. They played amazing against Arsenal, and I was like, they're better than us on the day.
Yeah.
We were lucky to go out on the point. And then I remember going to someone I work with, you'll lose 3-0. And he went, yeah, probably, and they lost 3-1. And it's just insane. And then they beat Barcelona. I mean, they beat Barcelona well.
Battered. Well, I mean, even though Barca had a red card, they
were still better than them at the end of the day. And yet, I still think they're this team that could lose 5 on a bounce and blow it.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go for Villa, and I think Liverpool are going to sneak in it. I generally think now they're going to sort themselves out. They're not going to win the title. I think they've accepted that's over. I think they'll stabilise themselves. If they go in and get a centre back at Christmas, in winter, sorry.
Yeah.
I can't see it being Mark Gay, because I just think he's going to stay for the season.
Yeah.
He'll go next year. But if they just get that centre back sorted, and kind of just Salah's just needs to do what he's doing.
Yeah.
You know, he doesn't play again, whatever. I think they'll stabilise and get fourth.
Yeah. Where do you think United will finish?
So I think United are going to be in the 5th or 6th position. I think United, there's something there, United. I have to admit, the turn. I know you might look at the table and go 7 wins, 5 draws, 5 losses, whatever. But they are turning, and they're getting there. They've had a lot of injuries. I was looking at the squad yesterday. Obviously, they've been affected by the African Cup of Nations as well.
Yeah, that's really, really hard.
I know. I mean, isn't it? If you remember correctly, Ferguson kind of used to refuse to sign African players because of the base of the fat.
Yeah,
because he didn't want to lose players for the African Cup of Nations. But I think he generally, I think there is something definitely ticking there. I mean,
100%.
I got it wrong with United last year and said they'd finish second.
I think it was a weird one with United, and I think we are 7th, right?
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong, it's not the position where we want to be. I mean, obviously we had the chance to go 5th, but we are only 3 points off 4th, so it's not as bad a reading as it looks.
No, and you've lost less games than Liverpool.
Well, yeah, exactly, and I think even though we're 10 points off 3rd, I think we write that off now. And I think you see people like Goldbridge and all that saying, oh, we're 10 points off Villa and this and that.
No.
This is not where United, we have to be realistic. United aren't going to challenge for for first, right? It's one of those things that we should be looking 15th last year, bottled the Europa League final, get into the top 5. At least, minimum top half of the table, get into the top 5. We need to do that.
I think once you've kind of accepted that that's where you are, you'll be better.
But this is the side that we are, though. We're not. We're not where Villa are. We're the side who needs to be about from 7th to about 5th. 100%. And top 4's a bonus.
I agree. And I think after you can't be near the bottom what you were last year, close to relegation.
No chance.
And then go, we're going to be in the top 4. It doesn't work that way. And I think the problem with United is they've probably overachieved some seasons.
Oh, yeah, like when we won the FA Cup. We should never have won the FA Cup.
When Mourinho said finishing second was the best thing he ever done, and people laughed at it. I think, and Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was even in the top 2 and stuff like that. I think they're all right.
We should have probably won the league, Ollie.
Yeah, but you don't realise how far away you've been.
Yeah.
And I think because you've had that years and years and years of dominance, I mean, you go back to the 80s and that, they weren't that good in the league before Ferguson come.
Yeah.
So you have this. And I think until United says, right, do you know what, where we're going to be? We're going to be where we are, like 7th, top 5, 6, 100%. Yeah. And you build your way back in.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Arsenal are the prime team that United need to look at and be like, look, right, you've had Arteta for 6 years. You've not got rid of your manager after 3 years, no matter how many people have been calling him out for.
Yeah,
you stick with your plan, and I think we have got a plan here with Ruben Amorim, and we know what he's doing. Like you can see in terms of like the Bournemouth game and the Villa game that we've adapted, and he's not just kept his 3-4-3. 3 at the back, 4 in the field, 2 and then 1. we've changed it, and now you can see there was a more of a back four structure when going forward. There was we put 3 in the midfield, which kind of helped us not get ran in the midfield because they have like 3 or 4 players in the midfield. We had 3. And it just shored it up a little bit.
I generally think as well under him there's a better idea, even though he finished lower last year than there was under Ten Hag. I mean, with Ten Hag, there were times where I didn't even know you had a midfield. Teams would just run through you.
Yeah.
I mean, you lost 7-0 to Liverpool. I know Liverpool were better, but there were times you just get run ragged by everyone.
Yeah.
It reminded me very similar of when PSG played in that Champions League final and they're just running. United just didn't seem to be able to keep. And I didn't know what they said. I didn't know what the system was. I didn't know what the midfield was or anything. And I think under Amorim, there is that system.
There's a system. There's a basis, and there's an idea that they want to play. And okay, maybe last year was kind of a players need to buy into this ideology and playing the 3 at the back, and I think they've done that now. There's obviously players who can't play it, and we obviously it's going to take time. Like Arsenal, you've not had Gyökeres, Zubimendi, Madueke, Eze, and all that for about 4 years, have you? You've had to put them in, and you've kind of invested in it, and you've let it develop over time.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, obviously you guys should have probably won the league in
2024.
Yeah, exactly. You should have won the league then, but you've invested in the squad, and I think that's what Sir Jim Radcliffe and Ineos have to kind of do. Don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of them, and I rather would have had the oil money of Qatar because I think we would have had no debt, and FFP wouldn't be on us.
Yeah.
But I think there's something coming, and I think we are developing. But top 5 or 5 to 7th is where United are as a team right now. Yeah. That's the quality we have. Well, I mean, the quality we have, we probably should be a top 4 team, but just the other players around us pull us into that kind of top 5.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. And if we just move on to the look ahead from the games that we've played, and then we'll do the teams after that.
Yeah.
So obviously on Saturday we had a 12:30 kickoff, Newcastle versus Chelsea. I think I predicted Newcastle to win 2-1. Obviously that ended 2-2. Did you watch the game?
I did. I got to see the highlights. It was one of them again. It was typical Chelsea that.
Yeah.
Newcastle kind of shocked me going 2-0 up.
Same.
I was a bit surprised with that. I thought it'd be a bit more cagey. And then Chelsea just did that. They fell. First half was dire. Second half they pulled it back. I think they both goals. Oh no, they got one before after. All right.
No, both of the goals were after.
I knew we were quite close after half time anyway.
Yeah, it was literally straight after.
Yeah, and then
free
it's too on it. And that is that thing we'll let Chelsea, but also Newcastle, and we'll actually explain why Newcastle are where they are now.
Yeah.
They're 2-0 up at home, Chelsea who they are, and you think they should be able to hold on.
I think if Chelsea would have played how they played in the second half, they would have won the game like 4-2 or something.
Yeah,
easily.
Yeah.
And then we have Bournemouth, Burnley. I didn't expect this to be a draw.
No. I mean, I think most would have put Bournemouth to win. But I think it's that where you said about Burnley trying to give it a fight, and Bournemouth kind of losing the way a little bit here. That kind of mid-season, struggling a bit. Games are coming quick and fast, and that whole thing of losing that back line like they did, will hit them. You know what I mean?
I think it is starting to, because 100%. The way Burnley scored, I remember watching Soccer Saturday, whatever it's called, and they scored off a corner last minute, and you're like, defensively,
it's going to happen. And Burnley are going to, they're going to try and make it hard for them to. They know that obviously they're not going to finish bottom likelihood. Yeah. They've got a chance of particularly scraping out. This is how they're going to have to do it.
Yeah, by draw.
Points away, trying to win at home. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Brighton versus Sunderland.
I mean, that's just
it was a dreadful
both teams are. Sunderland are buzzing every single day with that.
Yeah.
Brighton, a bizarre team, aren't they?
I know. Yeah, under Robert Sanchez. Robert, what's his name? De Zerbi.
Yeah,
they're a class team, and I think the manager's okay now, but I think it was a boring game.
I think Brighton is just if they stay 10th, 9th, 8th, 11th, they're happy with that. Yeah,
exactly. City 3, obviously West Ham 0. That was a classic result, and I predicted it right.
Just everyone happy that I think if you've got Haaland and you put your triple captain on it, you've got a decent one. But I mean, that's just where City are good like that though.
Classic City, isn't it?
Yeah,
really?
they'll just hit form. West Ham never going to give them a threat.
Yeah, exactly. And then Brentford 2, obviously Wolves 0. I think expected result. It just shows that Wolves are down.
I mean, we've got to give some credit to Brentford, and we might have done already. But I mean, to win that, I think most people expected Brentford where Wolves are after how they lost the players, lost the manager, and they've come back and they're doing really well. Winning away from home and when they should be struggling. So yeah.
And then the half time,
the crazy game.
The crazy game. 2 red cards for Spurs. Obviously, Liverpool winning that 2-1.
Capitulation really from Tottenham, that, innit? 2 red cards. Again, I know Liverpool have. I know.
I think they did the job as soon as they went down.
Yeah. I can't remember the goal scoring. Went to Liverpool score first, if I'm right.
Yeah, both. Yeah, it was 2-0. Isak scored the first one.
Yeah, and he scored. And Isak went off injured, didn't he?
Yeah, he's apparently he's broken his leg.
You're joking?
Dead serious. That's what.
Wow.
That's
I mean, if that bloke could have any luck, he'd have no. Do you know what I mean? He's just. But etiquette's been brilliant. But Tottenham, I mean, look at them falling apart at the end there.
I know.
2 red cards, but yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously you guys won 1-0. I think that's just the result that champions do.
Again, it was interesting, like you said, about the 6-year anniversary, and I do remember it was Everton and Arsenal just before Christmas when we got Arteta in. I think that was a 0-0. I think it was a drab game. Yeah. At the time, I think we were just coming back off having Ljungberg and being in 8th.
Yeah.
But how far we've come, and against a solid Everton, which remember that David Moyes is a solid manager.
Yeah.
You'll get a good team out of Everton, so a really good result.
Definitely, and then obviously the most surprising result, 100%. I would say.
Luckily I put Calvin Lewin into my fantasy.
Well.
But I tell you, Leeds are bizarre. I thought at some point dead and gone. Thought Farton would be out. Thought Calvin Lewin would never really get back to what he's doing.
Yeah.
And it's just strange, isn't it? How just one, you said something about a tactical change or something. Yeah. Done.
They've kind of played they've done a bit of a Ruben Amorim playing 3 at the back and stuff, and it's worked. And 4-1 against Palace is mental.
And I think Palace again, though, you've got to remember they've overachieved. They're in Europe, aren't they? They're trying to balance that out with. Remember, they've lost players as well.
Yeah.
Mark Gay, obviously, they kept, but they've lost others. It's hard, and I think this will happen.
Yeah.
They'll have these blips, and it will happen, but I think they'll bounce back.
Yeah, and then obviously United yesterday, the only game. I think, United were the better team, as I said on the match reaction.
Going to shamefully admit, I was going to watch this, and I thought it was at 8 o'clock. It was earlier on, weren't it? But then mad 8 o'clock games, aren't you, on a Sunday?
Yeah.
And when the result come through, I was like, oh, man, I was buzzing because Rodgers was on my team as well.
Yeah.
But, excuse me. But, I did miss it. I mean, I've seen the highlights of it, and I agree with what you say. I think United play well. I just think Villa now, you hit that form, you struggle to beat anyone.
Yeah, and obviously Bruno being out for, apparently over a month.
Which would be good for United, especially with losing players to the AFCON and other injuries as well. So.
Yeah, exactly. Then tonight's fixture at 8 o'clock. What are your predictions for it?
Well, this is an interesting one because it's not kind of like a boring one, is it? Because Forest still have to kind of get themselves away from relegation. Fulham have been a bit. I mean, there's question marks over Silver, I think, at the moment. Not for Fulham wanting rid of him. I don't know if he's thinking, is there anything better for himself? I mean, I know he had a bit of issue with signings, didn't he?
Yeah.
He got some at the end, and I think Fulham, they're a strange side, Fulham, in a way. Like, I don't know what their ambition will be, Fulham.
Yeah.
I think will be to stay in the Premier League and maybe reach the height they got in the early 2000s when they were pushing for 7th, things like that. But I think, I'm hoping Wilson scores again. Fantasy football, he's in it. I think, if I'm honest with you, I think 2-0 Fulham.
2-0 Fulham. I've gone 2-2 draw. I think obviously, hopefully Wilson scores. Like, we need that kind of FPL points there.
Yeah.
And I think Forest are on the up at the moment, and they have been scoring. So I would say probably draw.
I mean, I'm 2-0 victory. I'm kind of over ambitious there. I think
it's definitely doable though, with Fulham being at home and the results that they've had.
Forest have been. They are what they are because they're unpredictable as well.
Yeah, exactly.
They can't pick up form, so you never know.
Yeah, exactly. Then if we just move on to our current 11 of the Premier League season so far. So if we go off keepers, so I've gone Sunderland's keeper, Roofs. Who have you gone for?
I've gone. It was a battle between him and it was Raya, and I've gone for Raya.
Yeah.
I think that kind of obviously. I mean, it's not just an Arsenal bias. I think we've mentioned it before about goalkeepers. Both of us playing that position when we were younger. What I just love about Raya is he's the old-fashioned goalkeeper.
Yeah.
He comes out, and I remember when he caught a ball, everyone's going, "Oh, he's caught a ball," and it was like, "What?"
Yeah.
And I was like, back in the day, if you didn't catch a ball, you were just known as calamity.
Yeah.
Like David James and stuff, flapping at stuff. I know now keepers tend to punch it, but he's just so calm. He makes saves when he needs to. I mean, last year. I mean, no, it's not this year, but that kind of, the penalty save he did against Atlanta, the Aston Villa one. I mean, he just pulls out these saves even when he's not doing a lot.
Like I said before,
and I do think that's the mark of an outstanding keeper, where you can do nothing.
Yeah,
you can do something in the first minute and then nothing all game, or you can do something, but also you keep that calm.
Yeah,
and the back line links to him.
Yeah, I think that's a huge thing, and I don't disagree with putting Raya in there. I just think what Sunderland are doing, another clean sheet for them.
Yeah.
And I thought, he's a really, really solid person to have in there. If we go for our left back,
Yeah.
You're playing 4-4-2, aren't you?
So I'm actually going to, I'm going to go 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
So not 5.
Yeah, fair.
I'm going to go for the old-fashioned, what I tend
Yeah.
to use a lot myself, Football Manager. I'm going to go for the one that I thought would be the wild card of our team, Calafiori.
Yeah.
And the reason I've gone for Calafiori was I remember watching him first when I thought, he's been one of them kind of left backs where he'll score an amazing goal like he did against City.
Yeah.
He'll be tough. He'll get in people fit, and then he'll cause you. And I think he's been like, he's not my favourite of the back line. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
But I think he has shown the most maturity within that.
Yeah.
Coming through, him and Miles Skelly came through, and I thought, he's never going to get in again.
Yeah.
And Calafiori technically is a centre back.
Yeah.
But he's definitely made that left back his own. And that's what's added to our depth as well.
Yeah.
Is having them two options and going, both are good.
Yeah.
He's just edging out a little bit.
Just slightly better, yeah.
Yeah.
I've gone Mitchell from Palace. I think he's a very good player, and I think Mitchell's he should get into the World Cup squad.
I think he's very unfortunate. I think he's just not fancy, but he's a great player.
Yeah.
Again, if he moved, would he get in it? I think he's good enough to get in at Palace, but
definitely.
Is it Shaw who always gets in?
Shaw. Well, I don't know if Shaw would get in, because it's a weird formation that
we have this in England. You have people, you sit there and you go, how are they not getting in?
Yeah.
They always and they just don't make it. And he's unfortunately might be one of them.
Yeah. And then we go to our centre halves. I've gone Gabriel and Gay as mine. I think, but I get Gabriel in terms of his just attacking contributions and defensively contributions are mad. And Gay just being that leader at Palace, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Gay in the future be a captain for England.
I think you've also just given the classiness of how he's acted.
Yeah.
Him and Isak, two same scenarios, and his classiness was unbelievable. I mean, he played on the day before he was supposed to go, scored a goal.
Yeah.
And he's not really ever complained about this. And he will get a move. He will go to a bigger team. It might not be Liverpool, it might be somewhere else, but he will definitely get it. I agree with Gabriel, and I've gone with him, and I've gone with Saliba.
Yeah.
I think it's hard. It's really hard when you see them conceded 10 goals. I don't think we'll beat the Chelsea record, but I do think when you see them two together, Saliba is obviously that kind of Rolls Royce luxury player. Gabriel is that hard workship man.
The Vidic.
And I remember just bringing in Gabriel, and it was kind of like, I don't know what he's going to be like. He was a bit ropey at first.
Yeah.
But, you're partnering with Socrates and David Luiz.
Who would you go for? Vidic and Ferdinand, or Saliba and Gabriel?
I think,
and take your biased hat off.
Yeah, no, I think in all respects, it's going to have to be Vidic and Ferdinand.
Yeah,
you don't go winning 3 leagues on a trot. I mean, they should have won a treble again.
Yeah,
they were
wasn't it?
That kind of team. I mean, people going about the treble team for the success of that, but on paper, I think it was better.
Yeah,
and I just think that is one of the best sides. There's only a couple sides I think were incredible. I think the
Centurions.
Yeah. I think the Mourinho 04 or 05. I remember generally being like, when the hell are we ever going to win a trophy again under that team?
Yeah.
Luckily, Mourinho capitulated himself.
Yeah.
Our team, fully enough though, I do used to rate the earlier Arsenal team than the Invincible team. Obviously, it was a bigger feat.
Yeah.
But I think on paper, I thought the players were better. Obviously, it goes for yourself. But that 07, I mean, you say from 07 to 09, United team is just unreal. And I hate saying it, but they had depth everywhere. And that centre-back partnership was key to it.
Yeah. Right back, I'm going to go Timber, player of the season.
I just Timber. I think he's so absolute quality.
So
I mean, you go back to when he first debuted. He got injured in his first game. He was out for most of the season. He came with a lot of hype because he came from my ex-team, and you sometimes think, Dutch guy, how could he be?
Yeah.
I mean, I think originally was he more of a centre-back?
He was a centre-half, and that's why United were looking at him.
There was, funny we've done this now, and there was a thing about him and Saka against Everton, and they said they thought him and Ben White had a better partnership. But they said it was actually unreal how good him and Timber are at the moment.
Yeah.
And for someone who's probably more defensive than forward player, he does it all.
Yeah.
And he's just pure quality. And he's one of them players as well, like you've said, we both rated him, but he's not always talked about.
Yeah.
He just does a good job.
He just does it. He does what he needs to do. Like, I remember watching the game on Saturday. Like, he carries the ball into that midfield and he just does what you need him to do and gets you forward, and he gives the license to like Saka and things to go forward and do what they want. And he can play a pass as well.
And I generally like as well between him and Calafiori is they're interchangeable to the centre back as well.
Oh yeah.
So that whole back line for me is why I backed it for as well.
Yeah. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
Then we go with your one of your centre mids. So I've gone Zubimendi.
Yeah. I'm going to go Rice.
Yeah.
I do really rate Zubimendi, and I think again against Everton he was really, really influential.
I think that's what performance just cemented him.
Started off slow, but I knew that was going to happen. You know what's going to happen. I think a lot of hype to Zubimendi. I remember he was supposed to go to Liverpool. He came to us, and it was a great signing. Started off slow, but he's going to do, and he might have found his own way. But I've gone for Rice. So there's someone else I've gone with next to Rice. I think Rice is finding his position now.
Yeah.
I think originally we got him, he was going to be the ball winning midfield, potentially cover for centre back because he played centre half.
Yeah.
I think he is that kind of box to box we've lacked for a long time.
Yeah. And then I've gone for my next midfielder, Bruno Fernandes.
Yeah, I had a feeling. Yeah,
I know it might sound biased, right? But you look at this season and the stats that he's got, right? He's the most. He's created the most chances in the Premier League. Morgan Rogers is second. I think he's like, I think 20 chances behind him.
Yeah.
You know, Bruno Fernandes, since he joined the Premier League in 2020, he is the second most creative player.
Wow.
In terms of goals and assists, behind,
and in that team as well.
Yeah, behind, and he's got 193.
Wow.
Mo Salah's got like 200 odd.
Yeah,
right. Haaland is on 190, and you know, like obviously Haaland's a freak, so I wouldn't be imagining if we did see Bruno slip down to that third position. But if he's the second most creative player since February 2020, that is unreal. And I think this is going to sound crazy. I think Bruno Fernandes is the most underrated Premier League player that we've seen in the modern day.
I know what you're saying. I think going off them stats, I didn't know how well he done. I know he had some good ones. Underrated to a degree, yeah, he is. I mean, I suppose you can say he's not underrated because he is the main quality player they've got.
But what lacks him down is his attitude. But this year, you know, I think you don't see him going like that and flapping his arms at the ref as much as what we've seen previous.
Wasn't he captain though? Or is he still captain?
He's still captain, yeah.
And I think sometimes, and I said this about the Odegaard thing, where some of these guys shouldn't really be captain because they have a different talent.
I just think, who do you put United's captain? You get rid of Bruno. Who do you put? You can't give it Maguire. I'd give it De Ligt or Martinez.
You just got to be careful with this though, because I'm going backtracking a bit though. When we lost Vieira, and I think it was a downfall of Arsenal, I don't think it was Henry, it was definitely Vieira when he left. We were just handing captaincies out to people to keep them. Yeah. Henry got it, wasn't a good captain. He drops off his. He was getting older and he was going.
Yeah.
We then give it to Fabregas, who I generally didn't rate as a captain, but an amazing player. Yeah. Then we give it to Van Persie. And at that time, we probably had people like Gilberto Silva, Culo Torre, and all these people ended up leaving who could have been better captains, Koscielny.
Yeah.
And when in the end, if we stopped doing that, we've done it to give it Odegaard. I think Rice should be captain, and that's one of the reasons I picked him.
Yeah.
I think you've got to be careful of that though. And what you just said is right. Remember, your captain doesn't have to be the best player.
Yeah.
It has to be. I mean, people can say Roy Keane was an amazing player. Let's get past that whole. Yeah. He could play amazingly well.
Yeah.
So could Vieira. But I just think if we're giving it because he's the best player, then we're losing what captaincy is. And I don't think you have to be a different player. And sometimes Seamus Coleman at Everton, he's never been Everton's. He's the most consistent.
Yeah.
But he was their captain.
Yeah, because he just knew it and got the club.
And when Gary Neville got it for a bit, I mean, you know, he's not as keen level, but he was the reason he got it for was his consistency, his leadership.
Yeah.
I just seen it for as an Arsenal fan when we pass it round to, so you go stay for another year, you'll stay for another year, we'll give you captaincy. It's like, but you're not captaincy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I think with Bruno though, you just look at what he's doing for United. You know, and now he's out for a month. You know, it's a dreadful kind of scenario in terms of United.
There is 100% quality,
but you know, I think he's just that class player, and you know, he's what he's here for.
Yeah.
And if we just go on to the
am I midfielder?
Hey,
I haven't picked my midfielder.
Oh, go on. Sorry.
You assumed I picked Zubimendi, didn't you?
Yeah.
I was close to Zubimendi, and I'm going to go with Caicedo. Now, you might think, why?
Yeah.
And I generally pick Caicedo because I think of all the Chelsea players there, apart from maybe Cole Palmer, not missed that, he is the starter.
Yeah.
In that kind of bizarre collection of players that who knows who the start. If anyone could tell me the Chelsea start 11 every week, I'd be amazed because I don't know it.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Apart from maybe Sanchez, but he's just that main guy in that midfield. When he went off against us,
he kind of changed. To be fair, he didn't even play on the weekend. He didn't start.
No.
Reece James started. And, no, I think he did. Enzo Fernandez didn't start. And how much did they spend on Enzo Fernandez? 110 million.
And he might have dropped off recently, but I think he is that player who, out of the two of them, he struggled at first. He was quality at Brighton. He struggled at first. He's redeemed himself. Massive price tag. That's not his fault. That's just football.
Yeah.
I mean, it's Chelsea, isn't it? You know.
Yeah, man,
but he is that main guy. When you look at that Chelsea team, and I'm looking for it, and I'm going, he's going to start. Cole Palmer, and obviously
Reece James.
Sanchez. But obviously Reece James has been out for a while. I just think he's that guy. There's always that debate: who's better, him and Rice. I think you can put them together.
Rice is clear.
Yeah, but I think you can put them together. I think if they're not the same player just because they're in midfield.
Yeah.
And what maybe Zubimendi in 6 months' time might be in the team above Caicedo, but I just think of that Chelsea team, he's the one that I think is the starter.
I know, and I do get what you mean. I don't disagree.
Yeah.
And The attacking midfielder, I've gone Foden, and I think Foden's best position is a 10, not off the wing. I'd like to see him play there for England, but then at the same time, I was really close to putting Morgan Rogers in because of his, just look at yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, I've gone for, so I've got my two kind of holders there. We've been playing box to box ball winner, and then I've got Foden's number 10. I think, he obviously wasn't incredible at the weekend, but he has found that he does this Foden, doesn't he? Though, where he comes in, he's great, then he loses himself a little bit,
and just gets back,
and then he comes back into it. I think England, they're just never going to find that because they've got too many.
Yeah,
and that's a luxury in itself, and that's what they have to get paid to do. We go to a position now, we've got Jude Bellingham, Foden, and Cole Palmer, and
and Rodgers.
Yeah, and you've got to try and pick that. So fair play's got to do it.
I think if I'm Thomas Tuchel right now and I have to pick a squad, I'd pick Rodgers, Foden, and Jude. Yeah, I'd leave Cole out because he's not being played.
Yeah, of course. I mean, the problem with Cole Palmer is he's always got something to add.
Yeah,
I mean, you throw Eze into mix there, but I mean, he's in and out.
It's a weird one though, isn't it? Like, it's just weird. I think you could play Eze on the left, and I probably will take Eze on the left.
But I'm backing into Foden. I think his position is number 10.
Yeah.
We've tried. I mean, that's the Paul Scholes thing. Squeeze him in at left. He did play left United sometimes, but you put him in the right position. It's funny, innit? It's a simple game. Put him in his right position. He does the right thing.
Yeah.
Plays behind Haaland, and he's not only just giving assists. He's giving him
scoring
goals
as well. Yeah.
And that's why City are now rolling, because they were relying on Haaland. If you looked at one point, I think the second top goal scorer was 1.
Yeah.
After Haaland's whatever it was at the time, Foden's now adding to that. Gives them an extra layer there.
Yeah, exactly. If we just go on to our wingers, so I've gone Semenyo on the left. I think he has to be there.
Same. I can't disagree with that.
Yeah.
He's everyone's favourite fantasy football player as well. Than Haaland,
exactly. I think he's just been the only guy apart from Haaland.
And I think there's that again. He's come in. I remember when they first played Liverpool on the first day, and he was just quality. I know they lost, but he gave Bournemouth that threat.
Yeah.
And he always does. I think he did against United as well recently.
Yeah, he did, yeah.
And I think you watch me think, he comes in, he's a good winger.
Driving with the ball.
It's what you don't see. Yeah, love it. Fortunately, he won't be at Bournemouth for long. I just really hope if he does go, he's not just going to go to a team and sit on the bench.
Yeah.
What we've seen before.
I think if he goes City, I think he's got to look at it smart, be like, look, I'm not going to get ahead of Doku. I'm not going to get ahead of Foden.
Not every game anyway.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. So
do I go to a team and be the main guy, or do I go to a team and play a part of it? Grealish can sit there and say I've won trophies, but how part of it has he been of it?
Not much.
Do you know what I mean? And how do you look at yourself as that? It depends how you look at yourself as a player.
Yeah, exactly. Right winger, I've gone Mbeumo from United. I think you just added a different kind of side to United's right wing, because you look at United's attack this year. I think it's like 75% of United's attacks have come from the right hand side, and Mbeumo's obviously a massive part of that. And he's just how good he is. Like, look at him at Brentford.
Well done for shoehorning 2 United players into.
I'm not shoehorning them in. Bruno deserves it.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go. I know it's not really his position, but I'm going to put Rodgers in there.
Yeah.
I just think he's kind of the reason why Villa are just doing so well. In a team, if you was to pull the squad up and have a look at it, you'd be saying, how are they in the top 3 and in this form? That's no respect to them. I feel like they've kind of lost players and not really added, and then they've added them, not been the same quality they've had before.
It's like the striker, like, it's weird. Yeah. Watkins isn't the same player he was 2 years ago, and not David Milan, Daniel Martin, the same kind, isn't the player who we thought he was at Dortmund, and you're like, you don't really see a recognised centre forward there.
Yeah.
But,
I agree, and I think Rodgers. I mean, again, he was a City youngster, if I'm right.
Yeah,
he's made his first mark. I think he's just playing with that. You love playing with that confidence, and you just think they're going to score every time he gets the ball. He looks like he's going to score.
Yeah,
I mean, he's dragged Villa up there. The reason they beat United yesterday.
Yeah,
so fair play.
Yeah, and then striker.
I think there's only one in there. Yeah. I just think he dropped off a bit last year. And he still scores a lot. I mean, he's just a machine, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly.
He's the striker that people were crying out for.
Yeah,
he's big, he's strong, he's quick.
He's just that final puzzle that I think City needed. And
he's a bizarre player, isn't he? When you look at him, because if you look at him and his shape and the size of him,
you wouldn't think he's rapid. But he is.
But then you wouldn't think he's that strong. But then he is strong, and he's like the complete forward, but doesn't look like he should be. So, yeah, he's just unreal, isn't he?
Yeah, definitely. And then if we just have to pick a manager, who's been the best manager so far?
This is an interesting one, because what do you debate off? Do you debate off someone being at the top?
Well, it just depends, doesn't it, really?
I've got 2.
Go on.
I'm going to go Keith Andrews.
Yeah.
I think he's done a hell of a job at Brentford. I'm going to keep backing him. I think, again, everyone at the start of the season, I had him at bottom. I think most people would have done. not maybe as poor as Wolves, but definitely like out of sight.
Yeah.
And the gentleman at Sunderland, cannot remember his name.
I can't pronounce his name. It's a French name, isn't it? Yeah.
He's come out of nowhere. I mean, if you look at his history, had done nothing really. People a bit of a shock. So I go off them two.
Yeah, so I mean, I've got 3. So I've got Keith Andrews, like you've just mentioned there. Look how well Brentford are doing. So the Sunderland manager, God forbid to pronounce his name.
Someone will say his name for us.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. And then I'm going to go Unai Emery. I just think with what the start that Villa had, it was just kind of like dreadful. They didn't win. They didn't score in 4 games or something, didn't they? And then, to just win since then.
Yeah, fair point, that one.
It's just mental for them. But yeah, no, thank you for coming today. And yeah, that's the New Year's special. And hopefully we'll get you on soon after the Premier League finishes.
Like a Neil Warnock, couldn't I? Keep going on to podcast over and over again.
Literally, yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
But yeah, thank you everyone for watching. Please like the video, subscribe, and yeah, have a good New Year's.